I'm going to show you 4 artistic techniques that professional architecture and real estate photographers apply to their work to make eye-catching, impactful photos that keep their viewers engaged and make their photos stand out. These techniques have been used by painters and other artists as well for many centuries. These have been applied to modern art, and they're also applied to high-end photography so that you can engage the user and make that photo just stand out with something that psychologically just clicks. For instance, before I became a full-time real estate photographer many years ago, I pursued photography as an art, and that's when I learned early on the importance of combining artistic principles with the technical skills that are needed to take and create impactful, visually appealing photos. These artistic techniques are actually quite simple but talked about less often in many genres of marketing photography like real estate and architecture. But these are very important to learn if you want to make your photos stand out. Now, once again, there are 4 principles that I'm going to talk about here, and each one builds on the last. It's kind of a combination of things where we build a foundation and then work our way up from there. These are very simple, and once you see them, they'll start clicking. You'll start seeing these things just about everywhere. And these things are focal point, emphasis, direction, and then we're going to talk about placement and subordination. Now, I know you might not have heard of some of those, but believe me, they're really not that difficult. So let's start with the first and work our way up from there. The first technique is known as focal point. Now, that's not focus point. This is something that is different. This is the foundation that the other 3 techniques are going to build on. Basically, the focal point is where we want to draw the viewer's attention first. Sometimes it's the same as our focus point, but not always. In all cases, though, it's the main subject or feature, and a classic example of this is the famous painting of The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, where the viewer's gaze is drawn to Jesus not because he is at the center of the table, but because a focal point was established by the artist from which he used other techniques that we'll cover to build off that focal point. Now, in real estate photography, kitchen islands are a great example of focal points, as these are dominant and in the forefront of many architectural style real estate photos of kitchens. The idea of using kitchen islands as a focal point is that it often needs to be the first thing that stands out to a viewer, since islands are selling features. The goal is to guide the viewer to the island first, then to the rest of the photo in ways we'll get to in the other 3 techniques. Now, this also applies to what I call first features in a scene, like the sink closest to the camera in bathrooms, which gets the user's attention first before drawing them into the rest of the photo. Now, our camera's focus usually won't be on the sink exactly, but knowing this is our focal point, not focus point, but our focal point, builds the foundation to begin drawing the user into the space, since it's the first selling feature needed to attract the viewer's attention. Establishing this then as the first thing the viewer will see, we can then start working on the other 3 techniques to then draw them in. When capturing large areas, the focal point becomes the center of the space, like showing an open concept area while giving equal weight in the photo on both sides of the focal point to show the entire space. But this also means we need to apply the other 3 techniques all the more to make what could be a somewhat less artistic photo become more engaging. The focal point for individual rooms is usually at the end of the space, like the fireplace in this example, not in the center of the room like we would in a large open concept. Although the couch is big on the left, as you'll see here, knowing we want the fireplace and entertainment built-ins to be our focal point, we can compose them in angled shots somewhere near the rule of thirds, and then we'll use some of the other 3 techniques to draw the user to those features, but once again, we're establishing that focal point first. But in all these examples, angles and lighting help to emphasize each focal point, which is where the next and most important artistic technique comes into play. So focal point sets the foundation for what we're going to do now, knowing where our focal point, where the viewer's attention should then be drawn first in the photo. But before getting to those other 3 techniques, I did want to mention, if you want to learn more about real estate photography, then I'd invite you to take a look at my online courses on real estate photography. As you may know, I've got courses that cover professional interior photography, expert editing, professional exterior photography, videography for real estate, business and marketing for real estate photography, and I've also written best-selling books on real estate photography as well. So I have links to all that down in the description for this video. The second technique that we're going to talk about here, the artistic technique known as emphasis. And this is where, knowing where our focal point is, we can start placing the proper contrast and lighting, or work with that in the space to our advantage to really emphasize that focal point. We can see an example of this in The Funeral of Saint Bonaventure by Francisco de Zurban. Note how immediately our eye is drawn to Saint Bonaventure and then to the other church leaders because they are wearing bright colored robes. Now, while the brightness of their clothing provides emphasis, the more important thing here is the contrast. Note how everyone else is wearing darker clothing. Also, they're in dimmer light, and the background is very dim as well. Additionally, note how the reddish cloth under Saint Bonaventure also draws our attention, which gives us a secondary element of emphasis by the use of color, with all of this then guiding us more toward our focal point of Saint Bonaventure. Now, we usually don't want our real estate photos to be that dark or to have that much contrast in them, but we can use this principle of emphasis throughout a variety of examples I want to show here so that we can optimize a space on how we compose it, how we light it, and things to really look for when it comes to color that could either emphasize or de-emphasize what we're trying to show in our photos. As an example, take a look at this when we shoot toward windows. Very common, and also in this case, lighting toward the adjoining bathroom, which is brighter than the bedroom. Both of these things guide the viewer through the scene, guiding the user toward these points of emphasis. In this case, the bed is the focal point, and lighting does place emphasis on it. But the bright bathroom and window draw us through the frame so that the viewer isn't just stuck at the main focal point, which is the bed. Instead, the viewer gets drawn in to see that there is also an adjoining bathroom, which is another important feature of this space. Now, brighter areas help in, like for instance, this other composition where I'm not drawing the user through the scene. This is different. Instead, I want to draw the viewer's attention to a different point of emphasis, in this case, the bed. Now, we're not trying to sell the bed, but the emphasis here in that focal point of being the bed is to provide a first-person perspective of waking up in this room to soft morning light, giving the viewer a sense of comfort when looking at this space, thus giving the space more of a sense of purpose. Instead of just showing, oh, we've got this space, it actually says more about the space, and with this type of emphasis, then it tells a bigger story and draws the user closer to this particular space. But this gets trickier when you want to capture opposing compositions like here, where we can easily shoot toward the window and light up the kitchen on the other side of the archway with flash. But when we go to the other side of the room, if we just used ambient light, like in this shot, then we would lose the emphasis from a lack of brightness. The emphasis is in the wrong place because it's too bright here to the left of the camera because of the door and window behind me. So we need to utilize flash lighting, like in this finished image, to place emphasis in the kitchen, the farther end of the room, and the connecting hallway. So by controlling the light in the scene and not relying on ambient light alone, we can place eye-catching emphasis in the photos just by controlling the light ourselves using flash. Now, color can also provide emphasis, which is why Wolf ovens have red knobs. That's to draw the viewer to their appliance. This photo provides further emphasis beyond those red knobs, with contrast between the dark woods in the oven along with the purple pot on the stove. The various less intense pops of color from the fruit bowls and flowers are secondary, breaking up the scene. However, notice how no other reds are used in this photo, only on the oven knobs. Now, if the designer had placed other red elements in the scene, then I would have suggested that they change that so as not to de-emphasize the focal point of this photo, which is the Wolf appliance. Adding more red in the photo would have immediately drawn the user to maybe the wolf oven, but to other things that are red. So keeping the reds out of it, except for our one single focal point, which is right there in the center at our wolf oven, we keep just those reds there. We emphasize that area. We don't de-emphasize anything that should have been emphasized. We only de-emphasize the other areas of the kitchen. It doesn't mean that the viewer won't see it. It's that the first impression will be right there at our focal point. The third artistic technique is where things really start getting interesting, and this is known as direction or visual flow. You've probably seen this where leading lines provide pathways to features like in this kitchen, where the single point perspective composition provides automatic leading lines through the space to guide the viewer's attention across the entire image, ending at the far end of the kitchen. This is why single point perspective compositions are so popular with architecture photography, as the inherent leading lines provide direction with an automatic visual flow through the scene. Now this will vary when you start angling your shots. For instance, take this dining room angled shot, which doesn't have the same visual impact as a single point perspective of the same room. Now you can't always do single point perspectives depending on space. But the angled shot doesn't provide any guidance for the viewer, but the single point perspective leads you through the scene. Yet this isn't always the case. Take, for instance, this angled shot where the leading lines direct the visual flow to the connecting bedroom, which additionally uses emphasis by lighting up that far room, thus further enhancing the viewer's experience, drawing them through this scene while leaving them wanting more, wondering to what other room this leads, thus keeping the viewer more engaged. In this case, a single point perspective wouldn't work as well since the bedroom isn't centered in the photo to this particular sitting room. So instead, the angled shot provides better leading lines for the composition's direction and visual flow. The fourth artistic technique here is the one that many photographers get wrong. It's known as placement and subordination. So placement tells us that where we should probably place our focal point so that we can get emphasis in a scene. But that's the first half of it. The second half is just the opposite. It's known as subordination, where we de-emphasize certain areas or we can have a secondary focal point. This is common with staging, like in this kitchen, where this huge mixer is placed completely incorrectly. Being placed so close to the camera, it's now very large and it becomes a distracting focal point, also known as a subordination. It's drawing our eyes to the mixer, which isn't the most important feature of this kitchen. If the staging were reversed on this counter, then that huge mixer would be farther away, so its placement would not cause subordination. An example of where this does work is in this bathroom, where placement is ideal with the large plant farther away on the counter. This allows the vanity to be the focal point, not the large plant. If it were to be farther closer to the camera, it's farther away now, so the shower becomes a secondary feature because it's not completely distracted or overcome by what would have been an improperly placed focal point of having that plant closer to the camera. Now we can take other shots to highlight then the shower, like this single point perspective, where the shower, being such a large feature with high contrast compared to the rest of the frame, becomes a focal point with emphasis, while its placement in the frame allows the viewer to see the entire area of both the vanity and the shower. There are also cases for, though, intentional subordination, like in this photo, where I intentionally place the bar and the bar stools here on the right to be dominant in the frame so that it subordinated the kitchen, which may seem odd, but I did this because there were plenty of other kitchen shots to highlight the kitchen. But by taking this subordinating shot of the kitchen, the photo can tell a broader story of having casual seating connected to the kitchen, which then made this bar area with the bar stools, then the placement and our focal point getting the most emphasis in this photo. Now, these are just some simple examples of these 4 artistic techniques. If you want to take this further, this is what I'd invite you to do. Take a look at the portfolios of some of the higher end real estate and architecture photographers out there. You can find a lot on Instagram and look through their images. You'll start seeing that either they've done this right or they've done this wrong. If you see an image that stands out and it really pulls you in, think about, well, did they have all these things? Did they establish a good focal point that had emphasis? And did they give it direction in the proper placement? Or did they subordinate it? Or did they properly subordinate other things within that? You'll start seeing then these 4 artistic things everywhere. And once you do, and you're starting to become more familiar with them, then you can start practicing by putting those into your work, seeing where you could maybe do things a little bit better. Take a look at some of your prior real estate photography work and see if maybe you could have done something a little bit differently. And I guarantee next time you go out, you're starting to compose shots and you're starting to work the lighting and also the contrast and the editing that goes along with it, then you'll start seeing how you can apply these to make your photos stand out even more.